right, so today we're going to do a little paper chromatography. And what paper chromatography is when you are separating out different materials using something very simple like water or some other liquid. So for us, what we're going to be separating out are different color pigments. So we just have some regular markers of different colors. Most of these would separate out into different colors because they are made up of different colors. So we have a couple different ones of these. If you have a coffee filters work really well for this, but in a pinch, what works better? Paper towels, hopefully you have some. We have pencils, and you'll also need a tall glass that you can put some water in. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to cut the paper towel into strips, and you want them to be about 1 inch wide. So I'm going to cut 5 of them because we have 5 different colors, and then we'll do the next step. All right, so we have our strips of paper towel. Again, you can use coffee filters if you have them. And the next step is going to be, you're going to take each of your colors and on a separate paper towel, you're going to put a dot of ink. And now you need to make sure that you don't put it all the way at the bottom. It should be about 1/2 inch up towards the center of the paper towel. All right, so we have our dots about 1 inch, 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And now what we're going to do is taking our pencils, we're going to wrap the top of the paper towel around the pencil, because this is what's going to sit on top of the glass. Now, the important part is you don't want the paper towel resting completely on the bottom, because when we add water to it, we don't want the dot to be completely underwater. We want the water to be touching the bottom of the paper towel so that it slowly absorbs up. All right, so we have all of our pencils set up to be with the paper towel, and the paper towel is not quite touching the bottom of the cup. The next step is going to be really tricky. It's going to make sure that when you put the water in, that you don't put too much in. So we want it to just barely touch the bottom of the paper towel. We don't want it anywhere near the dot, because we want the water to actually move up the paper towel slowly, and then that way it spreads out the color. So it might help to actually measure the side of the cup where the end of the paper towel is, so that you know that you're not going to put too much water in there. We're also going to make some predictions. So we set up a little chart that we're going to make some predictions as to what we think is going to happen to each of the colors. And it's going to be, what do we think the colors are going to spread out to? And then afterwards, we're going to observe and figure out what actually did happen. All right, so we currently have them all set up. I used an Expo marker to mark the outside of the glass, so that way I could take the paper towel out, add the water, and then put the paper towel in. You don't want the water to get anywhere else on the paper towel. And now we're going to wait and see what happens as the colors travel up the paper towel. All right, so it's 10 minutes later, and our water has gone almost completely up the paper towels. In some of the colors definitely are more interesting than others. So this green, you can actually see towards the top, there's a little bit of yellow, and there's some bits of blue, which is what we would have expected and what we predicted. Black is definitely very interesting because it separates out into quite a few colors. But some of the other ones, it doesn't matter. It still just spreads out into just lighter versions of itself. So just kind of a cool experiment to check out and see if it actually works with, does it match what colors make it up? So enjoy.